We're going to be talking about fat. So as I walk through the supermarket, I see quite a lot of media attention on fats at the moment, and so I thought, what the fat? I'm going to do this on fat. So I wanted to help you get some clarity on how much fat that you should be eating in your day, and exactly how it is that fats help us lose fat. Right, because this one can be quite a confusing topic. For a long time, fat was demonized as the thing that needed to be super, super low. There's still a ton of low-fat products out there, and when you have a mentality of following a calorie deficit diet, and I'm talking about huge deficits, then low-fat products are really the ones that you tend to be looking after, right, that you tend to be moving towards. But today I want to make the case for fat, and I want to help you get clarity on how it actually is that fats help us lose fat. All right, so if you've got goals to address your health, and if a big part of that is to get your body fat down, then I really want you to get some clarity on this topic today. So for those of you who are joining for the first time, my name's Taryn Thompson. I'm your virtual health coach. I want to welcome those of you who are watching live, and for those of you who are watching the replay. Let me just give you a real quick intro for those of you who don't know me. So I've had my own health journey. I've lost 28 kilos, and so over the last 6 years I've really dedicated myself to helping people achieve their ideal body, and I've chosen 2 areas to specialize in and really focus on, and that is health coaching, because I firmly believe that you really need someone in your corner actually helping you move through your stuff, helping shift that perspective, because I had that and it saw me the entire way through. The second thing is hormone health, because I truly believe that when you understand what's going on with your hormones, then you'll know what it takes in order to get your body fat down, and understanding why it is that your body stores fat in the first place. So hormones are so important to understand and know about. So those are the 2 areas that I want to bring value to you in. Don't even know if that makes sense, but you get what I'm saying. All right, so let's cut to this topic today, which is on how fats help you lose fat. Well, first of all, you might know of or have read of lots of different reasons. Like, for example, fats are super beneficial because they help us to make and manufacture hormones. Like, for example, testosterone and estrogen and progesterone, and also the active form of vitamin D, which is actually a hormone. So a lot of people think vitamin D is just a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. So fats will actually help your body manufacture those hormones. So if there's a lot of stress going on in your life, and I would say that if you live in the Western world, then there probably is a lot of stress in your life that you're having to work through and just manage day to day. What can happen is that your body can start to leach these important sex hormones in order to make stress hormones. And so fats are super important for the production of these, which helps keep so many other functions functioning well. Like, for example, whether you feel good during that time of the month, ladies, or whether you don't, or even just generally speaking, like, for example, your sex drive, whether that gets really low. Also just in general your moods, and whether you cope and deal with stress well, or whether it's something that can really take you out and you can really feel quite overwhelmed and overcome by it. You'll be amazed at how much of that is to do with hormone health, and how much of that can be supported with eating a good amount of fats in your diet. So not to mention that 60% of your brain is made up of fat, and every single cell in your body, in order to be generated, you've got to have enough fats. And so, if you were to look at a cell, each of those membrane walls need to be supple. And so when they're supple, nutrients will move in and out of the cell. So those are some important health facts, all right, as to why it's super important for us to have good fats in our diet. But how do fats actually help us lose fat? Okay, because you can hear of all these really interesting health facts, but how do they actually help us lose body fat? So there are 3 main reasons that I'm going to touch on today. The first one is that fats help to control your blood sugar. Okay, so you might notice that during the day, when you are trying to keep your eating under control, if you are continuously getting hungry and noticing that your blood sugars are dropping and so you're reaching out and craving for things, then chances are is that you may not have enough fats in your diet. Okay, so at the end of this Periscope today, I'm going to let you know what are some really good fats and how much of them to have to help you get through. If you are following a low-fat diet, you probably do notice that as soon as you finish eating, the allocated portion of meal that you've cut for yourself, you might find that you are still hungry and not really feeling satiated. And that's the second thing that fats do. Fats really help hit the satiety centers of your brain. So what I mean by that is when you've got these centers in the brain which are called satiety centers, so where you feel satiated or satisfied, that's where the word comes from, and you've got centers in your brain which are the pleasure centers, okay? Now when you eat carbohydrates or sugars, your brain is being the centers that are being hit are the pleasure centers of the brain. So usually when you eat carbohydrates, and mostly what we're talking about here are the low nutritional value carbohydrates, like the ones that have got lots of sugars in them. When you're eating those, you could be eating them and eating them and eating them and just not noticing that you are actually feeling satisfied, and so you just keep eating them. And you don't really feel that you've had enough until you've had too much, right? Until you've already overeaten. So it's super important that that when you combine your meal, you are combining it with good fats, all right? I would actually recommend that you cut out the low-fat products in your life, okay? They will be hindering you more than they will actually be serving you, all right? And I'm going to address that one in just a second. So when you are taking fats in and you combine them with a meal, they will help your they will hit the satiety centers of the brain, which mean that you will feel satisfied at the end of your meal, and therefore you will be less likely to overeat or to want to continue eating over the allocated portion of your food that you may have prepared for yourself. Okay, so that's the second reason. Now the third is that fats don't trigger insulin. So what do I mean by that? Well, insulin is a fat storage hormone. So insulin is mostly triggered by when you are eating sugars or eating carbohydrates, and in some cases as well, eating excessive protein, okay? In all cases, eating excessive protein. But most people associate the production of insulin, which is a fat storage hormone, to eating sugars, right? But I want you to know that it is active and well when you are eating any food except for fats, all right? So in order to have less of this fat storage hormone in your body, you want to do things like controlling your sugar intake, controlling your carbohydrate intake, not excessively eating protein. But one of the things that you don't need to worry about with fats is that it is not insulin triggering. Okay, and at the same time, it's also hitting those satiety centers of the brain. Super, super important. Fat will not burn in the presence of insulin, so isn't it awesome to know that fats do not trigger insulin? The only time that your body will store fat as fat is as if it is in the presence of insulin. So if you are eating fats and then also eating them with sugars, all right? So that's an important important distinction to make. Okay, so those are really the three main things that I thought would provide a really good case for fats. All right, so what I want to do now is actually give you some fats that you can eat and look at how you can start adding them into your meals. And I'm going to give you some portion sizes as well to give you a guideline on that, because two things. It is possible to eat too much fat, all right? It's unlikely that you're I'm pretty sure that you know that. It's unlikely that you will go too overboard with fats anyway, but it is possible to eat too much of them. And by that, what I mean is that even if it is not in the presence of insulin, if you want your body to be burning stored fat, then you got to watch the amount of dietary fat that you consume, okay? So you got to give your body just enough fats in order to provide the functions necessary for good health, to hit the satiety, to help balance out your blood sugars, but then you also want your body to be accessing your stored fat, Okay, and the other reason is that you may not have complete clarity on what things are actually insulin triggering and how you need to eat in order to keep insulin low. Okay, so you do need to take some care of your portion sizes. So I'm going to give those to you now. So if you've got a pen and paper, you want to write this down. If not, this Periscope is actually available for replay for 24 hours, okay? So until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and you can rewind and fast forward. So eggs are a great source of fat and a great source of cholesterol. Eggs were demonized for the longest time, but even the District Health Board has lifted their stance on eggs, which is hilarious, but it is the truth, all right? So 2 eggs is a great source of fats. In a main meal. What you're looking for is about 7 to 10 grams on average. Now in some meals, if they're predominantly fat based, like for example in the morning, a lot of the time I have a cereal that's predominantly made out of, then more of my diet will consist of fats than 15 grams. However, in a part of a meal when you're having carbohydrates and proteins, you want to be aiming for about 7 to 10 grams of fats per serve. So that looks like 2 eggs. All right. Then you've got avocado. So how much avocado should you have? If it's a part of your main meal, about 1/3 of an avocado will give you a good amount of fats. When it comes to seeds and oils, when you're using them for dressings, you want to be looking at 1 tablespoon. Okay, sorry, seeds 2 tablespoons, oils, I'm talking about oils. For dressings, you want to be looking at 1 tablespoon. So let me take a drink. Okay, so oils were 1 tablespoon when you're using them for a dressing as a part of your main meal. If you're using seeds and sprinkling them over, you're using 2 tablespoons. If you are using nuts, like for example, not almonds, walnuts, if you're using walnuts or pecans or some other kind of a nut, about 1 tablespoon. If you are using almonds as a part of your main meal, then you can actually take a little bit more. It's about 10 almonds. If you're having them for a snack, you can go 15 to 20 though. Okay, so that's nuts for you. Coconut yogurt is a real good one. Look, we have a couple of really good friends of ours, Mr. and Mrs. Coconut. They make an excellent brand of yogurt, which is called Raglan Coconut Yogurt, found in Raglan. And so if you've tried it before, it's awesome. And the sugars in there are like 0. They're so low. But then they brought out these 2 new flavors, which they brought us to try, which is super exciting. Ollie totally digs it. And there are the serving for coconut yogurt, if it's a good quality brand, will have less than 3 grams of sugar per serve. All right, is about 1/4 of a cup. Okay, so about 1/4 of a cup for a serve. Right, extremely satisfying, great to use as a dressing or to have as a snack. And then the last one is peanut butter. About 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is how much you want to have. Really good if you're cooking with peanut butter to create a satay flavor, but also if you're wanting to have it for a snack, to have on a corn thin or a rice cracker, or to have it dipped in apple, which is also excellent. Look, making sure that you've got these fats in your meals are going to help you get through until the next meal without your blood sugars crashing and without reaching out for other foods, and also be making sure that you are feeling satisfied and then taking care of all the other good things as well, like the healthy things, like your cells and your hair and your sex hormones and all of that. All right, so all of those things are benefits, but also it's going to help you get your body fat down. So that's the message for today, guys. I really hope that I presented a good case for fats, and helped clear up any confusion. And also I hope that you got some really good tools, and are able to figure out ways that you can incorporate those fats into your meals in those quantities. All right, if you've got any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me through my website, which is generationhealth.co.nz. That's generationhealth.co.nz. Just hit the contact us and I'll reply to you within 24 to 48 hours. So just in case you are new and you are joining us for the first time, I Periscope every morning, 8 o'clock, Monday to Thursday. I really, if you are getting value from from these, which I get a lot of feedback from, and I know you are, I really would just want to reach out to you and ask you to share the message that is that I'm giving you every morning, to share it to either your Periscope followers or using your social media platform in order to pass these awesome messages of health along to the people that you know and love, or the people that are following you on Periscope. And the way that you do that is by swiping up or swiping to the right of your screen. That'll give you then the option to either share to your Periscope followers or share using Facebook. Okay, so it's going to give you that option. When I do reach 250 followers, we're going to implement Free Coaching Friday, which is going to be a great platform for you guys to be able to ask your questions in real time, and for me to be able to answer them for you right away, so that you can get on with your week ahead in good health. All right, so that's it for today, guys. I hope that you got a lot of value out of that. Thank you for the hearts, and I will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. Have a fantastic day. Catch you later.